Hello YouTube, this is You Could Do It Dave. So, I went out and I did a thing. Went out and got this little mini excavator. Did a whole bunch of research on it first. Thought I'd bite the bullet and save myself some digging. So now the first thing I'm noticing is there's no bolts on the outside of this thing. Okay, so to get in there, I've actually got to remove the bolts, which is kind of a good thing. Okay, so now we got the hour meter. It says 1 hour on it. Okay, so now if you look down in there, I am not seeing any loose bolts at all. They got lock nuts on that one. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything. You hear horror stories in the YouTube videos. How this thing's falling apart. None of the bolts are on. So come around here. Now I took the 3 bolts off that was holding that. There's the battery. Let's have a look down inside here. You got the filler dipstick is there, but if you look through here, it also has a filler dipstick right there. So there's one on each side. That's good. Everything looks tight. There's nothing falling out. No lip, no leaks, no drips. There's the store. There's the hydraulic tank. Yeah, so what I want to do is I'm going to change the engine oil in this thing first thing. Now, I kind of agree with the whole theory that it's coming from China, and you're not sure where the hydraulic fluid's been. You're not sure where the oil has been, or what kind of oil. I'm just going to change all the fluids. One of the things I was looking on YouTube, you got to clean out this gas tank. So we got a filter there, which is good to see. There's a little bit of stuff in the filter. Now if you look down in there, they actually have a filter in the tank. Now, I'm thinking since there's a little fine filter in the tank, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of sediment in there. So I'm thinking the gas, I'm not going to change out the gas basically. I'm not seeing a whole bunch of sediment. And they've got that fine little filter. So I'm going to say the gas is okay. Okay, so I'm in the process of changing out this oil, and I pulled the orange plug off the front of the engine right there, and it was just a plug. Okay, it's just a plug. So I had to go back to the back there and pull that plug out, which you can get. It's a little bit of a reach, and it's an actual dipstick. So I'm going to put this plug back in the back of the engine and have this one on this side. Well, I guess this one will be on the front of the engine, and I'll have the dipstick on the back of the engine where I can get to it better. Okay, so I got a small pail here. It's fairly clean on the inside. So now we can see about pulling this. Once you get the thing loosened off, it's actually not bad. Let's see if we can unscrew it here and get some oil out of this thing. And ouch! Yeah, that's okay. So we'll give that a little bit to drain. And and then we'll fill it up with nice clean fresh oil. Engine oil stopped dripping. Okay, I got the plug put back in right there. Yeah, doesn't look that bad, but I'm not going to take the chance. So I'm going to put in some new oil here and get this project done. Okay, so make sure the funnel is down in the hole so it's not going to drain out on the ground. Tip her up and just pour it in. Okay, so I don't really want to overfill it. So we'll pull that out. I want to make sure that it's not going to make a mess in there. So we can throw some paper towel down in there. Pull the funnel out. And then we'll see how much oil is actually in it here. You can see it's shiny there. I'm going to put a little more in, maybe about halfway. So again, make sure it goes in the hole. Okay, we're in the hole. And now we can... I'm going to put in a full liter. What the heck? There's the rest of the liter. Okay, so let's pull the funnel out. Wipe off the dipstick so it's nice and dry. Okay, nice and dry, and I'll put her in. And what do we have? We have... oh, she's at full. Okay, let's retest that. See, now that is the question. Like, right, if I don't put it in all the way, if I don't screw it in all the way, it's only half full. But if I do screw it in all the way, screw it in all the way, it's right at the full mark. Yeah, it's right at the high mark. Okay, so I got the engine oil all changed. Make sure you take your rags out of the engine compartment. Okay, engine oil's all changed. Now, the other modifications I've made is a lock on the driver's seat. Okay, I don't want anyone getting in there monkeying with the engine. Okay, and I just pulled the battery cable. So I'm also finding that these nice fancy little wrenches, because of the placement of that bolt, they don't fit on any of them. They don't fit. So I'm going to tighten these down and call it a day. Okay, so let's see here. This thing here is roughly about 39 inches wide. So yeah, 39 inches wide there. This heavy duty blade on the front, it's also 39. And the inside of the bucket is 14 by 12, but it's only 8 inches deep. And it should still do some digging. So after doing a bit of research on the oil levels in these engines, I've found out that you have to screw this plunger in all the way to get an accurate reading. So let's see here. I'm now up to right about there. Okay. About 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch from the high mark, and that's after using my little syringe here and taking a bit of oil out of the engine. So that does the job. I'll keep that handy. So now that the engine oil is all figured out, I can now start it up and work on the hydraulics. Okay, so day number 2 of changing the oils and fluids in this mini excavator. Okay, so what I did was, now that I've got the engine up and running, I came around here and I dug a little bit of a trench. Okay, so now I can come down in here and get to this plug right up in there. Right there. Okay, so we'll put the pail right here and let it drain in. We'll see how that works. Now, before I get into actually draining the oil, I thought I'd have a look in here and try and find the oil filter. Unfortunately, this model does not have one. It goes right from the pump around and into the tank. And that one goes around into the hydraulics and then back into the tank. So there is no filter on this beast. Hopefully there's one inside the tank. We're gonna have to open it up and have a look. Okay, so after removing this foot plate, you've got your tank in here. Problem is, there's a strainer inside there. Well, I found the Allen key that would fit in there, so I could take that off. Problem is, one of the Allen screws is right in under there. That one there I can get to. That one there I can get to. So I'm going to take this one off and have a look inside. I think if I get a pair of vice grips on there or something, I can loosen that off, and hopefully this whole plate will turn out of the way. But we'll see what it looks like inside there first. That's kind of a drastic step. Okay, so we got all the screws off. Let's see what we got inside here. Okay, so I'm going to want to put this somewhere nice and clean. So set it in the pail here. Okay, can we see down in there? Not really. It looks like I'm going to have to drain this out, and well, I guess I'm going to have to get her running, get it nice and warm so it'll flow better, and then maybe it won't be so cloudy. So I'm going to get her running and let it run for a few minutes. Okay, so I put everything back together. So now I can snug this down. So this system is now it can now be pressurized again. So I'll start her up and let it get warmed up a bit. Okay, so I let it run for 5 minutes. Took it all apart again. Oh yeah, it's running much better now. Okay, I'll put that in the pail. So yeah, that's all cloudy, and yeah, I think I'm going to drain this tank and see what's inside there. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the hydraulic fluid to drain, I figured I'd put this little thing together. Never seen that kind of grease fitting before, but it seems to work pretty good. You jam it in there, and this thing has a little cylinder in here. So you fill this thing with grease, and the plunger here is spring-loaded. Okay. Well, this thing here has a little cylinder in there, so when you pull the cylinder back, it loads it up, and when you squeeze it together, it forces it down in. Now, I don't really have a preference which grease is better or worse. But I do like the fact that if I use the red grease, let's see here, if you use the red grease, you come up here and you can actually see the red grease forcing out the brown grease. Like it's kind of a hard brown grease, and you can see the red is actually pushing it out, and I kind of like that. You know that it's getting greased. So I'll work away at greasing all the joints up here, and that will be another job off the list. Okay, so now I'm wiping down all the big gobs of grease that are squeezed out, trying to clean it up, make it nice and tidy so that it does not attract a lot of dirt and debris. So yeah, I'm going to say that those ones there are all done. Yeah. Okay, so as a side note, this toolbox here that comes with it, if you put the nozzle in the grease gun and have it full of grease, it does fit down in there. In your tools box. Okay, so I successfully got the drain plug out. Not only did it fill a 4-liter water bottle, but it also filled my pail quite a bit too. So I'm looking at probably 8-9 liters, rough guess. And now let's see what's in the tank here. Okay, so there are some metal shavings down in there. And we do have a filter, which is good to know. So now I'm not sure how to change that out. But I think for right now I'm just going to leave it in there, and I'll get it on the next oil change. So I'm finding out real quick, the one thing you need in your toolbox when you're working on one of these things is one of these. A magnetic pickup tool. So when you drop your tiny little screw way down in there, you can pick it up. So definitely add one of these to your toolbox. Okay, so we got her all put back together. As you can see, I filled it up to basically where it was when I got it. Okay, so it looks like it's maybe an inch or two below the top of the tank, but I'm not sure if it needs expansion room or not. So we'll leave it at that for right now and do some more research on it. Tighten that down, and as long as the thermostat is covered, I'm thinking we're okay. We'll fire it up and work the controls and get the air out of the system. So we'll have one last look under here just to make sure this thing's not leaking. Okay, so that was yellow. That was yellow, so now it's white or clear, so that's a good sign. We'll see what it looks like after I start it up and cycle the controls a bit. This concludes my video on how I changed the engine oil. Now, you'll notice that I never once took this back plate off. I find that even with my big hands, there's lots of room to get in there, and as long as you take your time and be patient. Okay. I'm not looking forward to taking out all those bolts, but I might have to someday. I would like to put some cooling fans on. I haven't run it in the summertime yet. But yeah, I changed the engine oil, the hydraulic fluid. Now that it's not sloped, it's not covering the thermostat, so I might have to add some there. before I pack it up for the night, I added some more hydraulic fluid, so it is now right at the very top of that gauge. It's sitting on flat level ground, so we should be good. So yeah, just as you can do it, Dave, and I'm building a hobbit home.